Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and build update number 3 of our Revell 49 Merc Special Edition. Man, the crew is still here from the weekend. They literally camped out. So let me get these guys out of the way. And I'm telling you, we got a bunch to go over and not a whole lot of time to do it. Duke's back. His leg's all better. I found it. It was across the shop. So we are good to go here. All right, let's move some of this out of the way, and I'm going to bring you down, and we're going to start with the body. I had a blast here. I decided to go ahead and chrome everything up. We talked about that, and I wasn't sure, but I thought I was. I am sure, and I did. So we got the windows all chromed in. I did use bare metal foil, although I really am not a bare metal foil lover, but for this, it was just so much easier for me. The little window vents, I came down, and I cut those off like in half so they don't go all the way back in to try to give that a little bit of a thinner so it looks a little thinner. There's a little glass back there, but I'm okay with that because if you just take a glance at it, it doesn't look like it's going 9 miles deep. The other thing I did is I used my Gundam panel liner on this. Let me dig this thing out. I went with the Gundam Gray. I haven't used this thing in a long time, but I didn't want black. I didn't want the pencil because the pencil over top of this bright clear, just not cutting it. So I hit it with the Gundam, and I was like, man, that really didn't do anything until I walked away from it, and I looked at it with the panel lines for the front here and for the trunk, and I was like, that matches perfectly. So I'm very happy with the Gundam. I mean, it's come through for me again. It's probably been, well, I don't know, man, but it's been a long time since we've done Gundam on this. But the bare metal foil went on like a dream. A lot of little places in here that, I had to cut from here to here and then from here to here, just so I wasn't wasting a ton of it. But once you burnish that all down, it was all okay. I did waste a little bit on these corners, going on the wraparounds. And I was told that people were having troubles with this windshield. And man, I wish I would have filmed it because the way the directions make it look is like you're trying to put it from the outside in and everything. But this thing really is made to go from the inside bottom this way. And I'm going to move that out of the way so I don't drop it. But what you do is you tilt it this way, and you get it to where it just barely fits through the wide side of this thing. And then my hand doesn't bend that way. So you put it in this way until it barely fits in there, and then you just rotate it back, and it kind of pins itself right in here where that glass piece sticks out a little bit. Right here, there's a notch. See how that angles in? Where that notch is, it kind of pivoted it, and when it did it, it pulled the bottom of the glass into line right in there, and it pushed the top right up on top here. Now, I did not paint these yet because I wasn't sure on the visors if I was going to go with the interior purple or the engine purple or the gray. So I just kind of left it go, and I still, $10 says I forget to do it, but I still have to clean up in here a little bit. But that went on a lot better than I thought. And then once it was in place, it kind of just hung there. So I really didn't have to fuss with it too much. So I just took my, Quick Shine and this brush right here. And I dipped the brush in. I'll bring it up and try to make it. There we go. I dipped the brush in the Quick Shine all the way up to about halfway up this metal piece. So I had a good drop on there, and I came down and I put it right here on this, and as soon as it touched where the glass meets the paint, it sucked in across that whole top. So it pulled it right in there, and I know that's going to lock it tight, but I still came in and I did this side and this side the same way, but just not without that big, huge drop. I got the drop on there and touched it on the top of the bottle, so there was a bunch on here, but not as much as I just used, and put it in there, and it pulled that down, and it wrapped it to about right here on the glass. And I did the same thing there, and it did it to about right there. And you can't see that at all on the outside. So it stays inside that line. It just kind of capillary actions itself in there. I did the same to the back glass. This thing has a large flange on it to drop in there. So I just laid it in there, sitting on top of a towel, and did the same thing. Big old drop of quick shine right here. And when I did that, it ran all the way around. You could see it in the glass take off. So you know that it's making contact with both the glass and the paint. And then I did the same thing on this corner. You can see where that's awful shiny right there. And I did the same thing on this corner and let that thing wrap itself all the way around there. And I just walked away, let that dry overnight, came in today, and there we go. Before I put those in, these side panels, they're made to where they're flanged on the side here and across the top, real nice, but nothing on the bottom. So when you put the interior in, it doesn't hit like on the Dart did. Boy, that was frustrating. So I got those in, the little vent windows I got in, and I used Mod Podge to hold the small windows in, just because there was no way for me to just lay it in there and get that brusher on the back side of this. So I put the Mod Podge down where the flange would be, came in with my tweezers until the flange end touched, and just hinged it down into place, and that locked them right in. So easy peasy there. You see I got the wires run now for the tail lights, and I'm using Jim's tail lights that he sent me out. Those are hand cast. He does a fantastic job, and this thing really, really needs the bullets. I'm not going to turn those on until the final, though. But I am going to show you the front glass. We'll move that out of the way, or not the front glass, the front headlights, because I want to tell you what I did, and it's completely and 100% my fault because I got excited and I hurried up. But it's going to work out okay. If I wasn't doing lights, this would have never. If I wasn't going to light the lights, it would have never happened. But see how that's white in there? That's all my fault. That's fogged up on the inside of the glass. I ran my wires in there and got the LEDs where I wanted them, taped them on the back, and then put super glue in there. And sure enough, I set them off to the side for a couple hours, an hour and a half maybe. No big deal. Usually I let them sit overnight, but I got excited because I was putting the glass in the body, and I dropped these in, and I used the quick shine on them to hold them in place. And what that did is the quick shine dried, but as the quick shine dried, it dried faster than the super glue. It wasn't all the way cured inside there, and that fogged up the inside of my lens. The super glue off-gassing did that. But I was pretty bummed out because it was 100%, and they both did it, which is okay because now they're even. But check this out. They're still going to be nice and bright, and they're going to look good in there. But if I wasn't going to light this, that would have just really bummed me out. I would have probably figured out a way to get that glass off of there and then polished it until the fog was gone. Quick shined it again, got it bright, and then put it in. But again, if I'm not running the electric, I wouldn't have had that problem. So if you're running lights and you're going to glue them in with the super glue, and I found the super glue doesn't really short out the LEDs. It holds them real good, but as long as you don't run power to them until they're dry, you're good to go. So there, and this is again my little tester, just a holder with some quick connects, and then the LEDs in the back, and that way I can test them as I go. They come out real easy, and it just makes life so much easier. So let me back you back out here again for a minute, because I want to bring the car body back over. Remember I was talking about not sure if I was going to use the louvers or if I was going to use the regular hood, and I decided I was going to use the louvers. So I wanted to test those pinstripe decals on the hood. And I know this should be farther forward and everything, but I wasn't really trying to get this right. I just wanted to see how the Revell decals looked on that purple. So I just put it on there, got it even, just in case something happened with the louvered one, I could at least use this, but I didn't have to fuss with it too much, and I really liked it. So bring the body back over. I did the trunk, which I love, and again, that magnet works out really good on there. And then I did the front too, which I absolutely love on there. That front needed the mustache. So, and then when the chrome's on here and everything, it's not going to look like a stash. It'll just look like the nice pinstripe. But these Revell decals are thin, but they came off. I use super hot water. You know, my tap water, I keep pretty dang hot, pretty much because of the doing decals. But I used as hot a water as I could get out of the tap, and it came off of there real nice, and it laid down there super nice. And there's nothing, there's no clear coat over this or anything yet. It's just, we're good. I will clear coat the hood. It will come off, so I don't have to worry about messing my glass up. That's why I went ahead and put the glass on there, because it's not going to get any more shiny than it is now. So I'll be able to hit that with clear coat. I'll rub it out where it feathers in. Same with the trunk, and we'll be good. And I got a weird line going on there. I keep seeing it. Okay, it was dirt. I kept seeing it in the camera. But then there's that, and both of those will clear coat on there. They'll look great, and then they'll be on there forever. But I thought it needed it, and it was fun. I never did those decals before when I was doing my roadsters, and always kind of thought I wished I did. But we'll continue on. Keep going with the lights. I got the lights run in my front grill cover, and what I did with these is these are the same lights. They're clear. But what I did is, well, I ran the wires in, but I left them sticking out about that far, and I got them with Tamiya's clear orange, and I pulled them into place and let the clear orange glue itself in. And then after that dried, I went ahead and put the light lenses on and locked them in with quick shine. So let me show you. I will light these up. I'm not going to point it directly at the camera, but I want you to see how taking those orange light, or the clear lights, and painting them orange. There we go. But you can see how orange that is. And I'll pick it up and point it, and it fills that whole lens. So talk about a cool, easy way to not have to worry about having 12 different kinds of lights or colors. Clear them. That works out great. But that's those. Like I said, I'm not going to show you the taillights, because that one I want to be a surprise. But again, I'm thanking Jim for sending me all the extra stuff out here that I've been using. Now let's dive into this engine. I'm going to bring it back down. I got the engine mounted on the frame just because that was the next step. Our upper wishbones are in. But this engine is so nice. I added the dipstick to it. Kind of hard to see. Right there. I went with purple wires. So I looked online and yeah, you can get them. So I used them. I added my linkage spring. The next time I do an engine, I'm going to do how I do my linkages and show everybody how that spring works and how easy all this is and how and how Hollywood it is too. The other side, we have our fuel lines run all the way out and around. Spark plug wires run on this side. They all went down real nice. I use that aftermarket distributor, so that even that went easy for me. The brake master cylinder is buried down here along with the steering box, so that'll be fun to do. The bottom I didn't do anything with yet, and my new paint came in. I wish I had it 2 days ago because I might have redone those exhaust manifolds, but that'll be for the next build. But this is a cool, and in the last build, or the last update, I said it's a 311 caddy. It's a 331 caddy. I was pretty tired the other day. But a whole lot of nice detail in this thing. Like I said, I love the way the intake floats over the top of the valley pan. And again, with the chrome, I used the chrome bells. So I went ahead and used the chrome my vent also. And the valve covers, I left the way they are. And I pre-fit this engine into the body without the frame on it. And I'm telling you, this actually sits. I'm going to bring it back over and show you. This actually will sit in that divot right there. So, we're going to have to put it in this way and kind of fight everything in there to get everything to fit and line up. Bruce said it was tight, and he wasn't messing around, man. It is tight to get in there, but we can do it. I almost wish that I would have kind of fudged it a little bit and put this on the frame and cut that alignment pin off of there and brought it in and dropped it down like you would a regular engine, because that isn't going to give you any room to play whatsoever. And I see what he meant. He said use these lower valve covers instead of using the big ones that Jim sent me, and I appreciate that because I was bound and determined to use those that Jim sent. But we'll get that on there, and I'm going to definitely get this on the frame before I even think about looking at the body. 6-volt battery. I decided to go green on the caps. I showed you that I painted those flat aluminum first, and then came back the other day and just hit them with park green. Kind of like that color. Let's go with the Firewall. You saw everything was painted the other day. Look at how nice it looks. The beehive oil can, I drilled on the top, I drilled on the side, and just Hollywooded. They just come down here and stop. When the engine's in place, you are never, ever, 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 ever going to see that. So I just said, good enough. These are actuators. I had to look these up. I could not figure out what these things were for. But they're actuators to run the vents inside the cab. It's for your heaters and vents. And they had 2 wires coming off of them, or vacuum lines, I'm not sure which, that came off and went into the Firewall. So I added those to it too. Just, I don't know, it was fun. But I love the detail in this Firewall. If you didn't do anything except for put it together, that detail is just awesome. So we got that. Our seats, I told you I was going to quick shine these. I did. I am not going to make these dirty. I'm not going to weather them at all. This is a show car, So I'm just going to leave them like that. With the way the pleats are on this thing, I think that the shadow lines are going to be good enough for me. I had the bare metal foil out and I forgot to lay this in. So shame on me. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't even know if I'm going to, because that would have to run all the way across the top. So I might just leave it the purple there. But there's that. The door panels. The back. Again, the pleats with the gloss on there, and I ran that quick shine as close to this line as I could, so that I wasn't getting this super glossy. And I'm good with this. It worked out great. Next, I got some paint pens. Now, I love my gallery paint pens. These things, if you're looking for metal colors, grab your gallery's paint markers. These things are fantastic. I use them a ton already on this build. But I grabbed some of these paint markers, and I talked about them to do the white walls. And I showed you last week that I did white walls just to see if I could with them, and that was a quickie, boom, and I was out of there just to see if it, what I wanted to make sure is that when that dried, it was going to stay on there, and it does. So we'll be able to do our own without doing those decals anymore. But it also came with a whole bunch of other colors. And I'm doing my shocks, and I thought, you know what? How about if we do Moroso shocks? That's how tight that point is on there. It doesn't really say Moroso, but I don't know, it looks good enough. And it'll look real good in the back of that, on the back of this, sitting, this way. So just a little bit more Hollywood on that. The last thing I'm going to show you today, well, second to last thing, is the dashboard. I finally got a dash that I am happy with. I showed you last time what I painted with the chrome, and then I did the green behind this, and then I went ahead and I said, no, we're going to go ahead and use the decals. They gave them to me because they are just that crisp. And then I used Mod Podge. I used 2 layers of Mod Podge in the gauges to show them off. But man, oh man, is that going to be awesome. And it's almost a shame because you're only going to see it through that little windows. So the detail is there. You can have a blast with it. And other than the speedometer, if you wanted to paint the other ones, they're good detail in them. The clock and all the other gauges, the detail's there. But I just went with the gauges there just to give it a lot of life, especially when it's going to be sitting looking this way. So that's those, and just the little things that you get. I wanted to show. This thing comes with a trophy and decals for the trophy. So I wanted to check my water and everything, and I never did decals that much on chrome. So I wanted to see how it would work out, and it really, they went on there great. They folded over beautifully, and they're not going anywhere. So you can't ask for any more than that. I did paint the sides black where it didn't touch, and I'll come back and I'll dot these with the brush chrome the next time I have it out. I have it on my whiteboard up there for things to do. But with that, the only other things that I did other than a whole bunch of real teeny tiny paint work is last week when I had these together, I noticed that there was white around that thing. So I painted that where it mates up in there with red. And now when that goes on there, that's going to look really good. So now it looks like one piece. And I see what they did in case this moves back and forth a little bit. You still have a good looking exhaust there. So with that, I want to thank Gallery for all the support that they've given me and our group. I want to thank our veterans and first responders, because without them, we can't do what we're doing here. I also want to give a shout out again to Jason, Mike, and Bruce for Automotive Model Car Livecast every Thursday at 8. Like I always say, they are the fastest hour on YouTube. They always have great people on there, and they always cover a ton in an hour or an hour and a half. But with that, I will let you go. I want you all to have a great day and a better tomorrow. And thanks again for watching.